Well, it's Wednesday at 4 o'clock, which means it's time for me to set the stage of what happened last night. While celebrating Nick's birthday, an elite committee of analysts, savants, and some people who were just there for the cake, to be 100% honest with you, met near the ball pit of an abandoned Chuck E. Cheese to fight and toil and burn that midnight oil to assemble what is known across the media landscape as the best segment in sports television. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for Nick's Tears.
Wildes, we appreciate the introduction as always, and we appreciated all those birthday salutations, but people were polite not to interrupt the committee meeting. Just a nice little doff of the cap for people that saw us out. All right, still all 32 teams on the tiers, but we are getting to the time where some will be eliminated from the tiers. So let's reveal the bottom row, if we may, getting to that time. Yeah, those 4 teams, any or all of them, or those 5 teams, could be eliminated any week now. They have, between those teams, they have 3 victories. They are not impressive. They do not look good, and they seem to all be one eye on the team this year, and except for the Panthers, one eye on the upcoming quarterback class. Next group, intermittently frisky. For pieces of games, these teams look good. It's been almost impossible for any of these teams to play a good 60 minutes, but all of them for different pieces or quarters. Sure. The Raiders have good opening and closing drives. They're a disaster in the middle. The Vikings move the ball, and then Kirk Cousins throws a red zone turnover. The Cardinals have a fun team. The Saints have a good defense, and the Jets have a good defense. They're intermittently frisky. These teams are all devastatingly disappointed. For the Steelers and the Falcons, it's very simple. They thought they might have a quarterback. They know they do not. For the Chargers and for the Bengals, this was the last year before those quarterback extensions really kick in, where they have the cheap quarterback. They thought they could compete for championships this year. Unfortunately, they cannot. All right, next group. Actually, still fun. Quarter of the way through the season. I enjoy watching Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud. Puka Nacua is must-see TV, and the Titans are attempting to build the entire offense out of Derrick Henry, and I don't blame them for it. Can you throw touchdown passes for us, too? Those teams are all still fun to watch. Jury's still out. These teams could, any of them, finish 6-11. Any of them could finish 11-6. I'm not sure. I have liked some of Jordan Love's clutch play, but on a down-to-down basis, he's been wildly erratic. The Browns have a great defense, massive questions on offense. Washington, I really have no handle on is that a good team, a bad team? I'm not certain. And the Jags, of course, have been disappointing through 4 weeks. However, they have a massive game this weekend in their second home in London against the Buffalo Bills. Could turn the season around. Middle child syndrome. What do I mean by this? All right, so if I were to describe a team to you, won 8 or 9 games last year. They have a retread quarterback. They're 3-1. You might say, well, who are you describing? Everybody's favorite, the lovable Detroit Lions overachieving, or the Seattle Seahawks? Oh, but then stuck in the middle. The team that fits the exact same profile, yet nobody cares about them. Nobody wants to give them any love or respect. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Bucks. All 3 of these teams have the same profile, same record, and were very similar last year, yet one of them is treated, a little differently than the others. Next, might be a piece away. These teams might have enough to win the Super Bowl. They also all might need to add one more thing. The Eagles might need a back 7 piece. They just might need to add someone either in linebacking or secondary to help that defense. The Dolphins might need someone that can stop the run. And the Ravens, I can't believe I'm saying this, they might need a wide receiver. They have Zay Flowers, but after drafting, they definitely have Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, but they still might be a receiver short, especially because of all the running back injuries they've had. Something's got to give. Cowboys-Niners this week. Either Dallas gets over the hump and folks start to question Purdy just a bit, or San Francisco has Dallas's number officially, and no matter how well the Cowboys do the rest of the year, it's a cloud hanging over them all season that, great, but you can't beat the Niners. You're going to have to play the Niners. Must be that time of year. You see that? Spirit Halloween's popping up. Pumpkin spice latte in the air. You see the leaves changing, and the Buffalo Bills are everyone's favorite, and Josh Allen is the MVP frontrunner. You can set your clock to it. And then, of course, at the top of the tiers, come on, be honest. Guys,
Be honest.
come on.
Be honest.
Be honest. You know who doesn't have a bias in this? Las Vegas. You know who they have as the favorites? Come on.
Yeah.
Be honest. You know who right now is the scariest team? The team that the biggest question about them is their passing game. And the passing game is quarterbacked by Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. Come on.
It's fair.
Greg, come on.
It's fair.
Be honest.
Come on.
Come on.
You know it.
Be honest.
You know what?
You don't want to play him.
I don't even want to touch that because I don't agree.
Because you're being honest. Come on.
No, I'm not being honest. I mean, if this is Vegas odds, then okay, put
It's
them at
not
the top.
Vegas odds.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's Nick's tiers,
Go
and
ahead.
it's going to be just like Vegas odds. Always Kansas City Chiefs at the top. Anyway, I look
For
at
the record, last year, 7 weeks, the Chiefs were
Stop
at the
it.
top.
Stop
7
it.
weeks.
Stop
Go ahead.
it. This is not last year. When I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the Detroit Lions, and I'm looking like they should swap spots with the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Shots
torn
fired,
here.
bro.
I know.
You know, I
That
feel
came
like
out
the
of
Baltimore
nowhere.
Ravens, I'm starting to look at them a little fraudulent, but I'll focus on the Lions. When you look at the Lions, they beat your team at the top.
straight.
Yes.
Don't care about who was there, who's not. That's
Yeah,
the
why
name
would
of
that matter?
I mean, don't get me started on the Baltimore Ravens and their wins of who's there and who's not. But the Detroit Lions, they have a quarterback that's been competent. They built around him, and he's looked great. Jared Goff is that guy. They have a running game that's impactful. They look at them defensively. Yes, do they need to shore up some things in the back end? Yes. But however, they can get after the quarterback. They can stop the run, number one team in rush defense in all of football. I look at this Detroit Lions team, and then I look at their schedule, and I say, why not?
Oh.
This is why I favor them. If we can look at their schedule, they got the Panthers coming up. Then they got the team that you got
Right next to 'em, at
in the
Tampa.
middle
That's
there
a tough
that we
game.
don't know about.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see week 7.
Yeah.
Because they got those Baltimore Ravens, who I'm starting to kind of think is a little fraudulent.
Wow.
But one thing I can hang my hat on and believe, this Detroit Lions team, the way they played Thursday night in Lambeau, on the road, a place where everyone says Jared Goff can't go on the road.
Well, that is
He's
true.
a completely different quarterback,
Yep.
but he won in Kansas City. He won in Lambeau. I mean, where else do you want him to win? So I like the Detroit Lions. I think they should move up and be swapped with the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, listen, I'm just glad the heat's going to move from me to Greg about the Ravens doubt. So Drew can now ask. Time for Greg
know
to
what?
apologize to the
I'm
Ravens.
sitting on this desk with 3 Ravens
Hold on.
haters.
Wildes is not
Well, I don't
a
know
Ravens
where
hater.
Wildes is
You've
on
got
the
to
Ravens.
stop
I don't
lumping
think
him
he's
in.
with us.
But hold on.
I don't think he's with us.
So I think I understand the point that you're making. I actually, in the direct Lions-Ravens comp, I have been impressed, really impressed, with one exception of how Lamar has played. I thought in week 3 he played very poorly and they won. I think it was week 3. And also with the Ravens, I'm retroactively giving them more credit for the unimpressive week 1 win over Houston. Because we all thought Houston was going to be terrible.
That's right.
And instead Houston has been in it and is a more than competent team. So now I look back on that, I'm like, beat them 25-9 and we were like, it wasn't that good.
Did you hear that, Greg?
On
I did.
Detroit's front, where I do want to give Detroit massive credit is this. It is very clear there are 2 Jared Goffs. Jared Goff with a clean pocket, not under pressure, and Jared Goff
No
when he has
doubt.
pressure in his face. And Dan Campbell prioritized building up an offensive line that will keep him clean.
Yep.
And now they get Jamal Williams back early from the gambling suspension. So I'm bullish on the Lions to a degree. They do have the single best win of any team in the NFL in years, some would say, going to Kansas City and winning the way they did on a first night. But I think they're in the right spot on the tier.
All right, since Greg wouldn't go there, I will.
Yeah.
The Chiefs should not be at the top. The San Francisco 49ers should be at the top of the tiers. And I get it that they are one of only 2 undefeated teams left in the league. I get it, though. It's not the standings.
Yeah.
But after 4 games, when you've only played 4 games, each game matters more. It's not like we're in week 11 where it's, this team is 9-2, this team is 10-1. What's the difference? Each game takes on an added significance when you're this early in the season, and San Francisco has clearly been the best team in football. They have not scored fewer than 30 points in any of their games.
Pretty good.
They've got a top 5 offense. They got a top 5 defense. Put them up, stack them up against the Chiefs and the Bills. Who's got the best receivers? The Niners. Who's got the best running back? The Niners. The defense, if you want to say Buffalo or San Francisco, you can argue between that. The Chiefs aren't in that discussion. Good defense, but not what the Niners and the Bills have. So the Niners, this is major league disrespect. They should be at the top of these tiers, Nick.
Okay, the Niners have looked great. They are yet to play a team that anyone believes is going to make the playoffs. So I would like to see them do that this week. They've beaten Pittsburgh, the Rams, the Giants, and the Cardinals. And while I believed in Pittsburgh going into the year, and I think you did as well, that the Pittsburgh has, I think, gone in the wrong direction, not just because of that Niners game. Maybe you could argue the Rams are a little better than we expected at this point, but probably not a playoff team. I think I have the Niners in the exact right spot. Again, they are not. I understand that most people would like the 2 undefeated teams to be atop the tiers, but that's
go to your local Marriott.
Philly shouldn't be. No, Philly shouldn't be. The Niners have been impressive.
Small
the Chiefs beat Zach Wilson. He gave them all they wanted.
They beat Trevor Lawrence.
Which doesn't look that impressive now. Just like you said, Houston looks impressive.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean they totally shut down the Bears offense that just hung 28 on the Denver Broncos and forced made them cut Randy Gregory?
And they lost.
I'm just telling you.
To the Lions.
Can I make it I'm going to put a stake in the ground on the Chargers. I'd like the Chargers to move up, at least to actually still fun, to maybe middle child syndrome. I think the Chargers, first of all, you got Justin Herbert. So Justin Herbert's playing great. Granted, his hand looks mangled, but they're on a bye, so it's going to have time to heal. Justin Herbert's great. Third most points in the AFC. It goes Dolphins, which is kind of weird. You got to take that 70-point game and kind of put it to the side, but still, you're number one. Bills, Chargers, and then the Chiefs. So I still like that.
Chiefs offense stunk. That's crazy. Fourth most points in the AFC.
Beat up on the Bears.
Okay, go ahead.
But the Chargers just steadily rolling.
Take away the Bears.
And then I just want to get ahead of this. When you look at the schedule, they've got the bye.
Yeah.
Then what happens? Oh,
they're about to lose back to
they beat the Cowboys because they're extra.
Once they beat
the Cowboys, everyone is going to like, wow, look at the Chargers. I think this early bye ends up hurting them later in the year, but I think they will come out of that bye. Dallas will either be totally deflated after losing the 49ers or totally elated. Either way, it's going to be a rough physical game. San Diego Chargers are going to have plenty of time to rest. They're going to get that W. I just want to put it out there.
Okay, that's
early.
Okay, so
early on.
Here is
Dusty,
what I appreciate what you're doing, and you guys know I like Justin Herbert. I didn't think he played well at all, actually, in this past week, but they were able to get the win despite it. You cannot overcome what they have. They have 2 disadvantages that are unlike almost any other team in the league. One is their coach, who once upon a time I liked, seems to have totally lost the plot, not because of the 4th down stuff, Brew, but because he was brought in because he was supposed to be a great defensive mastermind, and the defense, despite having a ton of talent, stinks. Agreed. And you just showed me they have a home game, the Los Angeles Chargers against the Dallas Cowboys. Who's going to be in a silent count? Who's going to, right in that game, have the home field advantage? The Dallas Cowboys. So I think the Chargers are about to go from 2-2 to 2-4 and having already used the bye. So no, I'm not buying them. Sorry.
You watch.
Okay.
You watch. Time for Burrow to sit down.
Probably. I do have a question for you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.